Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Semi-Professional Academic Podcast. As always, I'm your host with the most hangovers, and joining me today is a Hanoverian legend, a truly icon in the making, one of the realest and kindest people I know, Dionicio Sierra-Visoso, or as I call him, Dio.
Yo, yo, yo.
Dio, welcome to the podcast, man.
What's up, man? What's happening, baby?
Yeah.
We're going to fix everything in post. Just a heads up.
Dude, don't put that on my production team.
It's just Jacob. Shout out to Jacob.
Yeah, it's just me.
He is the entire production team.
I am like, I don't think people realize like how hard this is. Like, no one come for me in the comments of the non-existent comment section.
Yeah.
But like, this is hard. Like editing it, scheduling, getting everybody together. And don't get me wrong, I want to do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this all for free, y'all.
Yeah.
All for free. You're welcome.
It'll pay off someday, man.
Yeah, you know.
You just got to take it baby steps at a time.
True. But for the people who don't know us, Dio, you and I go back.
Yeah, man. Freshman
year of undergrad.
Yeah, Hanover, yeah. I remember, I can't remember if it was August experience, but we were at what's the housing over by campus security? Trimble House was right in front of it, or right behind it.
Ogle?
Yeah, was that it? Ogle.
Yeah.
I remember we met there with Sarah Everett, and it was just like, I think it was just us three freshmen in some pod, and it was so awkward because we were freshmen and we didn't know anybody.
Which was so funny now because I feel like the three of us in that group are some of the most talkative people like from that school.
Yes. Facts. Yeah. That is accurate information.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, it's so funny because I don't remember that at all. I don't remember a thing.
Yeah, no, that's like the one thing I remember from like when I met you and Sarah. It was like that night.
No. Did we go walking too?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
I can't remember what we did, but we left to go somewhere, like walked around or something. I don't know.
And keep in mind, everybody, I had known the both of you for approximately like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's just go walking with these strangers.
Yeah.
At night. Yeah. At like midnight.
It happens.
I mean, it was Hanover. Like, there was really like not that much. I did get followed by a homeless guy, like from freshman parking lot, but that's a story for another time.
Yikes! The wandering hobo of Hanover. Yeah.
But Dio, for anyone, for you know what? Don't worry. We'll fix this in post. It'd be so funny if I did not fix this in post.
Production will take care of it.
Yeah. That's gonna be my new excuse for anything. Production will take care of it.
I'll get my production crew. They're on it.
I'll get my production team. They're working hard.
24/7.
I'll be like, that didn't go through. Man, my production team dropped the ball. Someone's getting fired.
They're on it. Don't worry. We're gonna fix them up.
Dio, and for anybody who may be joining in for the first time, on this podcast, we just talk about things in academia that shaped our journeys, like what things we remember, what things stick out, what we loved about it, what parts we kind of wanted to, like, if we had a chance to fix.
Yeah.
And kind of talk about like how our involvement, whether it be over or still in academia, shapes our future and like what we want to aim from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just kind of like humanize that kind of like role and not feel like all aspects of academia, everyone who's involved in academia has like this certain cookie cutter thing, because that's just not it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Dio, are you ready to get started?
Let's do it. I'm ready, man.
Sweet. Okay, so just obviously I know you, but like kind of give like a little bit of background info about you for the audience members who may not be so familiar with you.
I got you. So yeah, I was born in Mexico. I lived there for 7 years. And then when I was 7, we moved to Indiana. Grew up in Westfield my entire life. And all my siblings are there now still. My brother Armando, he's in elementary school, 2nd grade. My sister, she's a freshman in high school. And then my brother Leo, he's 2. He is not in school yet. We're trying to get him to get him into a preschool. Yeah, but that man is like the Antichrist though, for sure.
He's not the Antichrist.
I mean, I love him, but it's a term I like to use, a term of endearment, because he's just he's like the Tasmanian devil from that one old
From
cartoon.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, dude. He's straight up the Tasmanian devil from Looney Tunes.
Dog, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, grew up in Mexico.
Hmm.
Did most of your schooling. Did you stay like in the Westfield school systems?
Yeah. So like ever since I moved here and moved here in Indiana, I'm not in Indiana right now, but ever since I moved to Indiana in 2005, I've been at Westfield my entire life. So
Dang.
it was Mexico, Westfield, Hanover for 4 years, and then back to Westfield.
Yeah. Now, just like a little bit of question, and listen, you may not remember because I mean, you was 7. I don't hardly remember anything about 7, but
Yeah.
did you find like it was a different like environment going to school in Mexico and then doing school in the United States?
Yeah, because I went to school in Mexico for a few years, but I can't really remember like what we were being taught just because I was so small.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved here, and I just know that because I had to take other classes apart from like my main homeroom class. So I was going to all these other classes on the side because I didn't speak English, and all the groups of kids who were like either couldn't speak English or like other native speakers of other languages,
Mm-hmm.
they would just switch us out. So I couldn't understand that concept because I'm like, well, my class is right over here. Why am I going to this other class? But yeah, it was a wild ride, man, because I couldn't speak any English at all when I first moved here. And like I joined the school year like right after Christmas break because it was January of 2005. And I think because of that reason, because I got there so late in the school year and I didn't speak English, I think that's why I got held back.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have been like a year ahead of us when we were Hanover. I'm kind of glad I got held back because 2020 was the year I would have graduated had I been on track my entire school life.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2020 was not it. So
I really feel like if you had a good time in 2020, and I'm not talking like surviving, like I'm talking like if you thrived in 2020,
yeah,
I am concerned. I am deeply concerned.
Yeah. You might be the Antichrist. You might be the literal Antichrist.
Not no hesitation. Just be like Antichrist.
Yeah.
I swear.
No way you enjoyed that shit. That was fun for nobody. 2020 was wild, dude. I feel like if I could describe 2020,
mm-hmm.
I would describe it as like a party night at Hanover where we got all wild and like you just don't know what was happening.
I totally get that, but like in a way, like I felt like it felt so weird, and I can never describe it. But when 2020 happened, it felt like all universes collapsed at that one point.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, and it was so funny because there was like a sense of like camaraderie in that when everyone just gave the fuck up.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they sent us home to finish off the school year, mm-hmm. and I really was like, "Yo, Chief, this ain't it." Like, mm-hmm. I was falling behind on my classwork. Like, I just not want to do it, man. There was no motivation. Not being with everybody on campus and like having to finish off, like. What was it, like 2-3 months we had left of that year?
Yeah, because we got sent home like
around this
like
time.
the 3-year anniversary was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was around this time we got sent home, and we still had March and April and whatever months after April, dude.
May.
Yeah.
You just went to a school with a whole May term.
I did.
But no one remembers anything in May term. Let's be real.
It did not exist that year. Yeah.
No.
That was wild, man.
Yeah. We'll get a little bit more like into the education side of it, but like we both went to Hanover,
mm-hmm.
and during the pandemic, like 2020 Hanover was just a wild time around, like for everybody.
It was crazy, man.
Because I know for me, like that was like when I was like, not really interviewing, but like taking tours and stuff for like med schools, grad schools, everything.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of people were like high key prioritizing like their schoolwork because everyone knows like in the fall, like you have that like serotonin boost because the winter depression hasn't hit yet.
Yeah, for real.
And so like everybody's like having fun. And then like during January, February, I think, and like beginning half of March, everybody like works hard academically to like get on a good start. And then later half of March and April, you kind of take it a little bit easier. And then because finals, you got to give yourself a rest. And then May, everyone just has fun.
Dude, yeah.
So it literally hit like the rise when like second semester started getting fun.
Yeah. It was insane. I remember showing up to my class, and it was with it was my Spanish professor, and I remember it was like the day or 2 days after where they sent out the email where we were going to be getting sent home, and there was so many girls in that class crying.
Dude, I was in my bio D class, and the professor was literally going over like what would happen in case we get sent home. And as soon as he started that, we got an email saying that we're getting sent home.
Yeah.
And everybody was just hysterically crying. Like rightfully so, like there was a bunch of seniors in there.
Yeah.
And it was so awful because you have people who are like genuinely concerned about like, oh, like people who are graduating, like the job markets, how that's going to look. And then you had someone over here, like, I don't know, and I won't name them, but they're like, I'm missing a credit. Like it was a sophomore, and I was just like, read the room, dog. Read the room. And we had Kyrish that weekend.
We did. It got canceled.
And
that was so unfortunate.
And for everyone who like doesn't know, I, being of Irish descent myself, love a fucking Irish themed party.
That's like one of the best parties that we had, like in prior years, and then damn, it got shit on that year.
Yeah.
Rip.
But like speaking of Hanover and everything, like Dio, how did you like what kind of like motivated you to like pursue college, and like did you know what you wanted to study going in?
Dude, I had no idea. I still don't know, if I'm being honest. I think it was always just an expectation for me. Like I really didn't have a choice in it. My mom was like, "Well, you're going to study something, and you're going to go." And once my mom sets her mind on something, like you just got to go through with it. But I think expectations there for me were so high just because like my mom never had those the same opportunities that I had. So like she didn't even finish high school. She even never made it to high school because my grandma had so many kids, and she just could like her and my grandpa couldn't afford to like send all of them to high school. So and they all grew up in Mexico. So, but yeah, my dad didn't go to high school, or maybe he did and he didn't finish. I can't remember. But yeah, I think that was like the biggest reason that my mom was like so adamant on me going. Looking back at it, even though like I probably wouldn't have gone, to be honest, because I'm like, I don't know what to do, you know, like I'm like, I don't know how to describe my life at this point, because like I'm trying to figure out on like what to do next, because I've got a job in education now, but like I don't see myself staying in that long term. Well, kind of. It's an iffy situation.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you're in your early 20s. I mean, like, people have, I think, like, I looked, and the average person has, like, 3 career changes during their life.
Yeah. Big facts.
So, I mean, like, it's hard to figure out exactly what you wanted. But
it's true.
Before, like, we get too far into that, I just, like, so, like, were you, because obviously you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So you were a first-generation college student?
Yeah.
And
first.
I know you talked to like a lot of that, like kind of like motivation and expectation pressure came from your parents who didn't necessarily have that same opportunity. But you also mentioned that you are the eldest of 4. And did you ever feel like that kind of pressure to like set an example for them as well?
Oh, big time, man. Mm-hmm. Big time. Yeah, so I got 3 younger ones. I'm the 4th. Firstborn, the oldest at 25. Yeah, I just think my mom was like, well, you have to do this. It really came down when my like sister was like finishing up middle school and about to go into high school, because that's when my mom, it really set in that my mom was like, well, she's going to have to go to college too. And I guess she just wanted me to be that one person that my siblings would like look up to and be like, yeah, he did it, he can do it, so you got to do it too. Which I feel like that's really kind of, this may be mean, but like that's just kind of a dumb thing to see, or to like kind of like a dumb thing to push on your not just our kids, but like on people in general. Like if my siblings want to go to college, like good for them. But if they don't, like I don't want my mom to be pushing that idea on them, you know? Like I said, like if it had been up to me, I think I would have like gone a different route after high school. Ultimately, I liked the decision I took, but yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like a little bit weird because like it didn't feel like it was entirely your decision.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, I made the most of it, you know? I'm just like, well,
You know?
it is what it is. I gotta go. I'm here. I went to my classes. I studied. I did projects. I studied for exams. I passed. The only time I made Dean's List was my junior year, which was a solid effort, man.
We love to see it.
Yeah, we do, yeah. So, I think when I made Dean's List that year, though, I was like, holy shit, I made Dean's List. And dude, that was a boost in my like confidence when it came to college.
Oh, same.
Yeah, and like that was at the end of the second semester too. So I was like, dude, I just gotta finish strong, and that's May term, and then I just couldn't just go wild during May term and stuff. And man, I finished that year strong, raised my GPA. So I was at a good point when coming back from my senior year, having just like blown that semester out of the water, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
But like speaking of your schoolwork, so like we know like you go to school and you weren't entirely sure on what to major in, right?
Yeah.
So how did you come to like education?
I was between going into Hanover. I was between business and education, and I was like, once I got to Hanover, I was like, I don't really want to do business. I ended up saying to myself, oh, I'm gonna do education and history. And I think the one history class I took kind of ruined it for me because we wrote papers there every day.
Yuck.
Yeah, like
yuck.
yeah, papers suck. It was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, and like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we had to like turn in a paper, which wasn't bad. It was like a 2 to 3 page paper, but like if that hadn't happened, I think I would be a history major and education major. And then everybody at one point was like, "You speak Spanish? You could be a Spanish teacher. Like that'd be really good. You're like a native speaker and everything." And then again, like just everybody is like, "Oh, you could be good at this. You could be good at this." I'm like, "Well, if everybody's saying it, I guess it'd be a good idea." So that's kind of where I went into education in Spanish. So, but yeah.
So like my thing is like, how did you like land on like the education aspect? And you may have mentioned that already, but my brain's just fried.
Yeah, I don't know. In all honesty, it came down to like, oh, they kind of like they get summers off, they get breaks throughout school.
Yeah,
like benefits are like honestly not bad. Like they got some good benefits, but like that's really one of the biggest reasons why I was like, oh, education, summers off, breaks.
Which I think is like that's important to consider. Like you gotta like, and not just for education, like for any job, you gotta look about like how is this gonna let me live the life that I want. And I feel like a lot of times, like especially in America, like we're like conditioned to fit our lifestyle to our work, when really like we should be looking at be like, what kind of life do I want to have?
Yeah,
what do I want, and what job can do that? Because I mean, I think it's important to be passionate about like the job that you do, but you should be passionate about your life first.
Yeah, I feel like countries in Europe where they have like what a 3-week or 4-week vacation.
Yeah, we need to get on that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But that's kind of where I got the idea. I'm like, I want to have a period of time there where like I can just hang out and relax, like my European friends over there, over in the East. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I know people who are European, but I've never been to Europe myself.
Oh, I love Europe.
Man,
no, except the lack of sugar, man.
Lack of sugar?
Yeah. Okay. So like those like the Polar Pops we used to get from Circle K?
Yeah.
They don't even exist over there, man.
Really?
Like if you found a regular Coke, like just like non-Diet Coke, non-Coke Zero.
Yeah.
It was like a gold mine. At least when I was in Ireland for it, because of the sugar tax that they have.
Oh shoot. I didn't know they had a sugar tax.
Yeah, dude, like, and I didn't realize like how much sugar like I was eating.
Yeah.
Until I went to Europe and I couldn't have any, and like I was going through withdrawals, man. Like I was like,
he was a fiend.
I was in there with like other like 15, 16 other people from the United States
Yeah.
who like are very accustomed to like
Sugar on everything.
sugar on everything.
Yeah.
So like it got to the point where like people were like taking like sugar packets from coffee
Oh my
and
God.
just ripping them over and like putting them on
That's
their tongue.
hilarious, dude. That's so funny.
Yeah, dude. The first thing that I did when I got back to the States, you know what I did?
You had Polar Pop?
I went and got
Yeah.
a triple XL Polar Pop, man.
Dude, those things slap. I love a good Polar Pop. Especially on like a night where you have to stay up late and study or do a project or something.
Yeah. I remember her in undergrad, like in SIG. Well, me, Nick, and Cole would literally go get like make a Circle K run like at least 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where like it became like a regular trip like for everybody. And I was just like, all right, make a Circle K run. Who's coming?
Yeah.
Like, where we going? Where are we going? What everybody need?
That started a trend or tradition. Because after every chapter meeting, we would just have a bunch of guys go to Circle K, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know like when that started.
Yeah.
But like I knew like after it I would need like Polar Pop because like especially that sophomore year chapters, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. Which
wild.
Yeah. Which
wild.
Before we get into that, this is a little background story for everybody else. Dio and I really became friends when we joined the Sigma Chi fraternity Chi chapter.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Yeah. Which that in itself could be a whole podcast.
That was a wild ride.
No, that was so. But like Dio and I, are like we informally met like around like events on campus and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like we really got to know each other like during like pledgeship.
Like when we rushed, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna rush either.
You didn't like.
I didn't.
Yeah, because how it works is like once you get a bid and you decide like where you're gonna go, there's this run night, which is this huge event on campus, or at least it was.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, current administration, we don't know where that's going, but
into the ground. if you knew Hanover like we did, not good.
No. So then like, but you get these bids and like everybody meets and it says like, I wouldn't say the whole campus because there's just like very much people who that's not their scene, which is totally fine. But a majority of the campus is there.
Yeah.
And you watch the people who are rushing these fraternities run to the home. And we got so lucky because like my freshman year, we ran out of Collier gym.
Yeah, like the main basketball gym.
And so it's about
a couple 100 yards maybe to our house.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the size of a football field.
Like I was thinking like maybe a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's like about a quarter mile run to this house. And keep in mind, it is the middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's cold. And I was just grateful that we were like the closest fraternity because some people had to run like a mile to their house.
Dude, yeah, it was rough.
The way I would just not have it.
Nope, not me.
You didn't even run the first time. What are you talking about? So
that's true.
So Dio turns down his bid, and we're all running, and like we see him out, and then after run night, it usually is like kind of like a social scene with like people hanging out.
Yeah.
At the fraternity houses and coming up and partying, all that kind of stuff. And we find out that like a week later that Dio changes his mind.
Yeah, like that night, like run night, when everybody was like at the house and they were just like hanging out and partying and stuff. And then Fernando, shout out to my blue-eyed dragon Nando. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference for you Gen Zers. Wait, we're Gen Z. Dang. Hey, but I know Yu-Gi-Oh though. Some of these other Gen Zers don't.
Everybody knows Yu-Gi-Oh. If they're not, then you're just...
Dude, some people don't even know what a flip phone is.
Dude.
That's a side story for...
That's a story for later.
Yeah, that's a story for later. But yeah, run night, everybody runs. I was at run night watching everybody run to the house they chose. And then later on that night, I go up to my boy Nando and he said... Or no, I told him, I was like, man, I should have ran with you guys. I definitely should have rushed. And he's like, whoa, really? Are you serious? Like he starts freaking out, man. Yeah. He like starts looking in all directions, was like, whoa. And he left. He didn't even say anything.
I love Nano for that. He was just a mission.
Yeah, he was on a mission after I said that, and he's like, "Whoa, are you really?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he freaked out a little bit, and then went upstairs, and I just never saw him. Yeah. And then, but apparently he was talking to Jerkschmied because he was the president at the time.
Yeah. I love Jake.
Yeah.
Fun fact: he's actually Jake's been referenced on like multiple podcasts before.
Yeah,
they haven't came out yet, but they will.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess he went to talk to Jerkschmied, and like the next day, I showed up to like the first pledge meeting or whatever, because then it was like, okay, cool, yeah, we're gonna let you join. Be here tomorrow, and yeah, man, that was a good decision though.
Yeah,
almost did not rush, almost did not join. That would have been bad.
Yeah, and it was so funny because during like the recruitment process, like you usually invite people over to the house so they get to know you, and you get to know them and all that stuff. And Dio, you had came to a few of them, right?
I did.
Yeah, so, and then we had another brother, Ty Allen, who I love with my whole heart. But Ty, and this is coming from the people who recruited him, because again, same time, Ty went to 0 events.
He did, man.
Ty went to 0 events.
Didn't attend one.
Didn't attend one. Said yes before Dio did, who was at every single event.
Yeah, almost. I remember going to the Buffalo Wild Wings trip.
Dude, I remember when Robbie took us to the wrong one.
Someone drove almost an hour out to the wrong Buffalo Wild Wings.
Dude,
that was funny.
That was such a fun time. And like originally the brothers in the house told me at the time that they thought I was gonna say no because of that event.
That's hilarious.
And I said yes.
Yeah.
And I was low-key mad because they knew it was like a sure thing. I was like, you don't know that.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a bunch of people that reached out to me that day of run night though.
Yeah,
like trying to get me to join. It was Ollie and Riley, and I only remember because I went to high school with both of them.
Right.
So they like all reached out.
Yeah, love Riley. He was my RA.
The goat.
Yeah,
2 of the goats.
Looking back on that now, like that seems so weird because like the culture of the house. Would not be the same if you would have said no.
Yeah, it was a good time. It's been it was kind of rough that first year we lived in there.
No,
yeah,
but I was there.
We witnessed it every day, but it was good
every damn day.
It was good.
All right, well, and I'm glad you bring that up because I do have a question about that. But let's just take a little break for a while.
Let's do it.
And we are back. So, Dio, a lot of people have like a kind of like preconceived idea about what being in fraternity is during college.
Yep.
Can you speak like a little bit on that? Maybe tell us like some events or stories that happened?
Yeah.
Not the 3-hour chapter.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I wasn't going to rush. But then I saw everybody else did it, so I did, and I ended up joining. But again, the fact that I was already expected to like attend college, and the fact that like I realized that it's like I can't really not go because that's my mom just wanted me to go. So the fact that it was already an expectation for me to be there, I was like, might as well make it fun. And I don't think I would have stayed at Hanover honestly if I hadn't joined.
Really?
Because after freshman year, I almost transferred.
I think everybody did.
Yeah, dude. After freshman year, I almost transferred to IPY in Indy, which was I would have been a commuter at that point because it was so close to my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fraternity was definitely like the one place that I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay, and I did stay. So. No. It all worked out.
Lived in house.
I lived in house, man. Living in the house was like the most fun.
Mm-hmm. I loved it because it was just there was always like goofy shit going on.
Nothing boring ever happened.
If everyone was quiet, either like we were gone.
Yeah, like there's nobody in the house.
someone was always up, no
Yeah.
matter what the time. Because like in this house, there was about like what, like 30,
I think
32.
there was always around 32, but I think we were able to fit like 35 people.
Yeah, so like we were bumping,
Yeah.
and because I mean, and it was like very different. Like I don't know about you, but like for me, it was like very different from what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Like because you kind of grow up with like all like everything you see in the news and everything you see like in movies, and you're like thinking like that's how it's gonna be. And like I remember like I just remember like one night like everybody was crying, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? Like I saw like 6 people that I didn't know like crying, like hugging me, and like I'm from the South, so like we like hug all the time.
Yeah.
But
I just remember watching what's that one movie, Neighbors?
See, I thought it was gonna be like Animal House.
Animal House? Yeah, looking back at it, I thought it was gonna be like Animal House too, actually.
And then it was just not. I mean, like we had a whole group chat dedicated to Pokemon Go raids.
Yeah.
Like, so, and it was a bunch of goofy people. Like we had people who were like, who honestly could have their own reality show just by themselves.
Yes, very true.
And it was so wild to me because everyone. When I told people like I was in a fraternity, I was like, "Oh, like are you doing this?" And then like I would show them like, like pictures and stuff. Be like, oh, "Never mind."
Yeah, it was fun, man. A lot of people have a preconceived notion of what fraternity life is like.
They still do to this day. Like I remember when I came, and I don't know about you, but like when I came here for my master's, everyone always wanted to call it like, "Oh, you were in a frat." I was like, first of all, I was in a fraternity. Cannot tell you how much that bothers me.
I think we might be the only ones who say that, though.
I know, but like, listen to me. I don't talk to be just talking. I talk to be listened to.
Yeah. Hey, that's why productions is so on top of things today. They know what's up.
Yeah, my honestly, my production crew deserve the world.
They're gonna get an Oscar someday for this. Hey, shout out to my crew. Oh wait, it's Jacob.
It's me.
It's a one-man show, man.
Ironically, it's a one-man show dedicated to everyone else's stories but the person about the one-man show. What if I did a podcast about this podcast and I'm going, never mind.
That'd be super meta.
That'd be so meta, and everyone would look at me like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
See, I'm very passionate about this podcast, and I told Dio this, but I hate saying that I have a podcast because I'm always afraid everyone's going to start sending me that video like, white boy with a podcast.
Hey, he got a white podcast. That almost came out.
He got a white podcast.
Yeah. You said a white boy, and I said, hey, he got a white podcast. Yeah, I didn't mean it in any derogatory term.
But one of the stories that I think like we like during undergrad, like where we really became friends, was our freshman year with Nando, Leo, Gail, Nick, Cole, DK, and Alex.
Yeah.
Do you remember what I'm referencing? And Brian. Brian, I forgot.
Yeah, Minorities Night.
Yeah, Minorities Night.
Night.
We loved Minorities Night. So
for people who don't understand, it was a fun night.
For people who don't understand,
you just gotta understand. It was fun, man. It was nothing like derogatory to minorities, but like.
No. Well, I mean, like when we were in a house with at that point 35 people, and we had. I'm like doing the math. Like my mind's buffering. We had like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Brothers of color.
Yeah.
And this was because we were at a predominantly white institution.
Yeah.
So like, it was not by choice. Like,
no.
We had a student body, man.
For the size of Hanover, we had
1,100 students when we graduated.
Yeah.
Not in our class, in the whole university.
The entire school, yeah.
Yeah. So like, very limited, and we're in Southern Indiana. Which
not a lot of diversity.
No. So anyways, back to the Minorities Night.
Yeah.
I was there, although I'm white. I did represent the queer community.
Yeah.
Someone tried to tell me like I also represented Indigenous people, but I'm literally only like an 8th, 16th. So like I'm not the representation that group needs.
Yeah. Holden was there too. I forgot Holden was there.
Holden was there because he was a redhead.
Yeah, Holden August.
Yeah, Nick was there because he was a lefty, and then Cole was there to represent the straight community
Yeah,
as an ally.
Cole there that night was the minority of the night.
Dude, and Abby was there, which I love partying with Abby. She's always fun. But people are like, "Why is Abby here?" She's like, "I'm a woman."
yeah, I'm a girl. Can't you tell?
And,
but that was a good night, man. We had some drinks. We hung out. It was good. It was like very. It was a moment where there was like a lot of camaraderie ship over the fact that we were minorities.
mm-hmm. And I think like a lot of people don't talk about that, like, and you know, like how you feel about it, but like I never mean it like in a derogatory. Well, that's a lie. Sometimes I do, but minorities night was just so fun for me. Like because we did it like every year. I feel like
we did.
Yeah, the best one was the freshman year.
Freshman year for sure. Yeah.
And like I don't know about you, Dio, but like at the time, like there was like other queer people in the house, so like it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very isolating to be a marginalized person in a room full of people who've never had that like experience.
Yeah.
I just love those minority nights because like we were able to understand each other a lot more about it and just give each other props for like surviving. Because, and this happens everywhere, but especially in Hanover, I felt like I was used as almost like a prop to some people because I was gay, and they're like, "Oh, I can't be homophobic. I'm friends with Jacob." And it was stuff like that that just kind of like fed into me thinking that like I didn't deserve to be there because I also didn't have any professors who were out openly queer, like at least in like my studies. So being the only queer person in the room, regardless, was just very isolating at times. Dio, as a fellow marginalized person, I just want to ask, if you're comfortable with it, of course, can you talk to us like a little bit about what it was like going to like predominantly white institutions in undergrad and like high school and stuff?
Yeah. So I think it all stems back to like me moving to Indiana, moving to the Midwest as a 7-year-old kid, born in Mexico. I think just being like that culture shock of like, oh, I'm like the only Mexican here now. I think it stems from that 7 year, like when I was 7 years old, where I'm like, oh, okay, it's white people everywhere. It's like, that's just how it goes. Like, I never even thought to like think about like, man, I'm the only like Mexican here. I'm the only brown kid here, other than when I was in first grade, But after that, I'm just like, yo, there's my friend John, whatever,
My friend John.
Yeah, John was a real person, man. We hung out all the time.
Oh, I thought you were just saying.
No, but yeah, John was a real person. We hung out at elementary school all the time. But I think when you're that young and you're forced to move to an environment like that, where you come from like a different background, different culture, I think you're just like, well, damn, here I am. Nobody else looks like me, so. Like, you get to a point where you're just like, hey, I'm not the same as these people, I didn't really see it as like a big problem. I'm just like, yeah, it's Westfield, it's white, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the minority population or the like ethnic population in Westfield, from when I went there between elementary school and high school, it was like pretty low. There was like a handful of Mexican kids, a handful of black kids, and not a whole lot of other ethnic groups, really. But now it's grown like twice the size as it used to be. So there's a lot more diversity there now. Mm-hmm. We've got almost 3,000 students now in the school.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a big school. And I can't remember the exact number, but there's a bunch of different languages, and it's in the double digits. There's a bunch of languages that are spoken there.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of like people that are like Arab, a lot of people that are Hispanic, a lot of people from a lot of like black students there, and those are just like the ones that are coming to my head right now. But no, it's grown so much. And they've been doing a bunch of different like movie nights and like other outings and like club meetings where they just want to like expose um, all the cultural differences and not like everybody else from different backgrounds to the school and stuff. So
That's really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So, Dio, and another thing that like a lot of people don't know about you is that you were a athlete in college, right?
Yes. Athlete in college.
Mm-hmm. And you did track and field, right?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, I did it from middle school, 7th, 8th grade, all throughout high school, 4 years of college, 10 years altogether. But dude, I definitely don't think I should have continued in college, to be honest.
Yeah, why?
It was fun in high school. Like I really did enjoy it, and like I loved every minute of it in high school. And like I played football too. But dude, I ended up just quitting football because, man, like they just work you like a dog, and I didn't even enjoy it that much. But so I stuck with track, and then in college I was like, I'll do track here too. But then at that point, like I got to a point in college where I just did not enjoy it, and I think I only ended up finishing it, for the entire 4 years because I'm like, well, like I'll never get this opportunity again, you know. So might as well do it. But I really did not enjoy it.
Was it just like the scheduling or like?
I think I just like stopped liking it, and like the coaches, like they didn't really know how. Well, my event coach for the events that I did just did not really do a good job at his job. So I think that's another reason why I stopped liking it as much as I did.
Yeah, no hate, no shade, just facts.
Yeah, no hate, no shade, but it really comes down to I think that, and I missed out on like spring break and being able to do anything with spring break because I always had track during spring break. So
yeah, they did the track people dirty with like our spring break. Always the week of conference. Yeah,
and we were like the only team that, because all the other teams like they got to go somewhere for spring break or like they got to take trips as a team, and we are the only team who like never got to go anywhere. Like we always had to stay on campus, and you had these other teams like going to Tennessee or whatever and stuff.
Yeah, and like that was so weird. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, they changed it now. They take the track team to Tennessee. They were there a few weeks ago.
Well, that's good, but still,
should have done all that. I was there.
Yeah, I swear. Like things only get good once you leave somewhere.
Exactly.
So, in addition to like being in Greek life, being a student athlete, you also were a student worker because we together worked as ambassadors.
We did. Gave tours.
That was an experience.
An experience indeed. An experience indeed.
Oh
man,
that was.
It was.
If Barb, if you're listening, we love you. Just don't worry. But like you met like so many people. Like I remember, I full on had a whole breakdown. Like I was physically sobbing. But I had a tour, so like I like wiped it away and like I gave the tour and then I went back to sobbing.
Giving tours was always kind of rough just because like like once you move into Hanover and once you see like the stuff that they never actually gonna do, it was rough being a student ambassador in that sense because they kept telling us they were gonna fix stuff and renovate stuff and add AC to like the freshman dorms and all this and all that, and none of that happened until like after we left.
Yeah, and like I'll give them a pass because some of it was COVID. Like, like stuff like got delayed, like parts, installation, just workers like that. Like I'll give a pass, but like it got so embarrassing because this is a real story. I gave a tour to someone my sophomore year. She came back to get another tour senior year, and the same things that were being fixed were still not done.
I remember taking my tour at Hanover and them telling me all the stuff they were going to fix. And then I remember like, I think my sophomore year or my junior year. But I remember telling prospective students the same thing that guy told me when he gave me my tour. They're like, yeah, we're gonna fix all this stuff, and
No,
it is what it is.
it really is. And
At least they're fixing stuff now. They're like, there's a lot of stuff they're renovating and fixing. So
yeah, which I think is like something like we don't talk about enough in like academia, for example. Like there's a lot of things that, whether it be faculty's decision, staff decisions, admin's decisions, or sometimes nobody's decision, that just like affects everything. And like you can be sympathetic to something and like why something's happening, but at the same time, like that's a very big inconvenience. That's another thing too. Like when you work as like a student ambassador, you get like not even just an ambassador. Like when you work anywhere, like in a college, naturally there's going to be some stuff that you get told if you play your cards right, which I always did. Like I always knew everything.
Yeah, especially if you worked in the admissions office, which you did.
You heard everything. Sometimes by accident, sometimes you got told, but like
dude, random story actually.
Yeah.
I clogged the toilet in the admissions office.
No, dude, that's criminal.
Dude, I went in to give a tour. No, I just went into my shift because I didn't have a tour.
I loved when we didn't have a tour.
That
was the best.
We just did stuff in the basement and like, it was fun. But anyway, I go to the bathroom and the toilets also sucked. Like they would not flush.
No, and like they weren't even like the low efficiency water thing that like you could get behind because it was like good for the environment. They were just bad.
They were like they had like no pressure when you flushed.
A sink had more pressure.
Yeah. So I go there, do my business, and I flush. I flushed like 4 different times. It did not go down.
So it's just sitting there.
Like they're like parts just floating. It's like mostly all toilet paper and like, you know, my business is kind of floating around. And
oh my god.
And I'm like, well, damn. So I go to the other bathroom that was right next to it to see if there was a plunger, and apparently there wasn't. So I had to find Barb.
Wait, you had to find Barb?
I had to find our boss, and I go up to her and I was like, "Yo, is there a plunger I could use to unclog the toilet?" And she's like, yeah, those bathrooms suck.
Oh, I'm glad Barb.
Yeah.
Barb always got it.
She did. Yeah.
I love Barb. Side story about Barb. This woman is allergic to alcohol.
Sad travesty.
I would die.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, she has like this party for everybody at her house, and all the seniors anyway. And I'm just gonna say it. Our class sucked. Because it was only me, you, Mayavelli, and Cam that showed up.
We did, yeah.
And like some people had genuine excuses. Yeah. For those of you who had those, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that just didn't want to come. And Bart was like, you know what? Let's have some fun. So like we got out of the pool, and she starts lining up tequila shots. And I was like, Barb, you're allergic. She goes, just a little bit.
just a
and I was just like, this woman is an icon. Yeah. Keep in mind, this woman literally is like one of the sweetest people ever. And
she's a G.
She really is a G. And she was like inviting all these people to her house because like all the staffers and everything.
Yep.
Me, you, Mayavelli, and Cam are like the only ones who like actually got in the pool. So like we look like wet rats.
Yeah, dude.
And everyone's just like, let's take some shots. And I was like,
yes. It was the only time I really saw her drink, like other than like beer and stuff.
Yeah, well, because you know she's allergic.
She is, yeah. But I'm like, I was freaking out.
And
I was like, wow.
Like, keep in mind, we have everybody there. Like, we're all in Greek life, and for those of you who don't know, if you're in Greek life, odds are you know how to take liquor.
Yes.
Like, am I wrong?
You are absolutely correct.
And so we all expected that like Barb would have like a little bit of difficulty with the shot. Given she doesn't drink, she finished it out of anyone before anyone else did. And keep in mind, she poured like shots for the staff as well.
Yep.
So like we're over here and like she inhaled this thing, and I was like, I was like, oh, Barb knew how to party. Barb knew how to party.
She knew what she was doing, man.
Yeah. And I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I'm obsessed with her. I love her.
Yeah, she's the go. Shout out to Barb. Shout out to Barb Sims.
Barb, wherever.
I don't think we ever got our caricatures though.
Yeah, that's why we didn't. Like, we got the party instead.
Oh, nice. I think I would have liked the caricature though. I'm not gonna let you. Give me my caricature. Like, dog. I've never had a caricature done, and that would have been dope, man. I would have made it my like profile picture. Oh man, it would have been a good time.
Oh my gosh! But I'm going to talk about like a little bit about this. It's so funny to me because especially like when you're in college, and don't get me wrong, like you are there to learn,
Mm-hmm.
but like the social aspect of it, you're there like you. I mean, I remember dancing on a table. I remember jumping off the stairs into a death drop. I remember
Crazy times, man.
And I remember you had some crazy times yourself.
As
Remember the worm?
The worm on multiple occasions. So before I tell that story, I think the reason why college is the way it is in that aspect, like the kind of like the party side of it, is because you're stressed to the max.
Oh, 100%.
100%. 24/7, you're stressed to the max. So when you got some free time and like when you're done for the week and it's the weekend, you don't want to do anything with school. So like that's one of the reasons why I was like such a party animal my first 2 years, especially. But my sophomore year, I would always have a bottle of tequila, and this one time I had a bottle of mezcal, which is similar to tequila, but it's a bit more smoky, a bit more smoother. And there's a worm at the bottom of a bottle, and it's the worm that lives on the plants that that drink is made of. And so if it's got the worm, then you're like, oh, that's authentic mezcal. Whoever takes the last shot has to eat the worm. And legend has it the worm gives you like a vision.
Did you have a vision?
Dude, I did. I did have a vision.
Ooh, what did it say? You will be on this White Boys podcast in 5 years.
That would have been a good vision, man. I didn't really have a vision, but like I just remember it might have been a dream, man. I might have drank so much mezcal that night that I just dreamt this. But like I was outside in my pajamas, just like walking down like the side road between Wiley and Sig, like that road, the File Street, I think it was, in my Elmo PJs and my Elmo shirt, and that's all I remember. Just like walking around in my PJs outside in like the middle of winter. But yeah, eat that worm. It doesn't taste like a worm.
Does it just taste like tequila?
It just tastes like the drink because it's been soaking in there for forever. So it doesn't taste like anything other than the drink. So
oh, nice. All right, and so I love like those kind of like stories because you literally dance on a table, take shots with, and then see people sobbing and crying up and puking, and then now like they're like doctors, teachers, lawyers.
Yep.
And it's just so funny to me because like I remember we brought him up already, so I'm gonna remember Jake Zerschmied.
Yeah,
love him to death. He just graduated from law school either like last year or 2 years ago.
I think he might still be going. I don't know.
No, he graduated. I saw that.
Oh, did he?
I think
yeah, he did. He did graduate law school.
Yeah, and like super like professional,
always on top of stuff. Always on top of
stuff,
his thing, yeah.
Everything, and love him. And I don't mean to expose you, Jake, which I know you're not listening to this, but I remember. Do you remember that homecoming where he had Seagram?
I do not remember.
Okay, so what happened was he is usually, he's always very, very together, very professional, like very type A. But this one night he decided to do shots the night before homecoming. And he was in ambassadors with us.
Oh, yeah. This
So
is tough because we were out in the sun all day as ambassadors.
yeah, so we're out in the sun all day waiting, like taking people around campus, and Jake had to drive the cart. So
That's a good job to have, though.
So he is physically hungover, like to the point. And as someone who once had a 48-hour hangover, I know what that looks like. And so he was like rocking, like he's like he was shaking like every 5 seconds, and he was just driving this golf cart around with people this whole time.
Man. Yeah.
And now he's a lawyer.
No, he's a lawyer.
It's just it's so funny to me. It's so funny.
It's a crazy night. I remember anybody who wanted tequila would come to my room because I was stacked.
You always had tequila, man.
I always had the good stuff, man.
Tequila town.
For sure. We always played Pong in there too.
I loved Pong.
Good game of Pong, man.
I remember one time you and I played together.
Yeah, we ran the table.
I love Pong. Anyone who like has an iPhone knows like I hit them up to play cup Pong like at least like once a year because I love the game Pong so much.
I think if we had to get rid of, I think if we could only keep one game that we could play, I think I'd keep Pong.
I would keep Pong too because I love frat ball and I love
Rage Cage is pretty fun.
I love Rage Cage, but like Rage Cage, like you gotta have like a certain amount of people, or else it's
also very hectic too because
it's so hectic.
Everybody's so close together.
These hoes like don't know how to play the game, and so like I like Pong because like you can just ball
it up.
Yeah, but that kind of like brings me to my point. So like Dio, like you and I like have all these stories. We do all these things, like whether it being like ambassadors, being track, being in a fraternity, and then you graduate with your degree. And you find a job. At your old high school.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was that like? Like having like these 4 years of like growth, finding yourself like doing like all these experiences, and then coming back home and like to like all that again.
What was that like? It was kind of weird, man, because you're gone for 4 years and then you're finally back. Like you're gone for 4 years, but you visit a few times a year, and during the summers, and then you're back for good. Like you're back and you live there, and you're just like, well, man, like this low-key kind of boring now. Like, because when you were a student or a kid growing up there or going to school there, you know, like when I was in high school, middle school stuff, like I had all my friends, we'd hang out and do all this stuff, but now like you're an adult and you're like on your own and you're like, well, dang, I gotta work now for the rest of my life. And like, you still hang out with your friends, but nowhere near the same as like, you could just grab somebody on a random Tuesday at the house and I don't know, play campus golf or whatever.
I love campus golf. And for those of you who don't know, we would just take golf balls and clubs and just hit the ball like randomly. No, not golf balls. Tennis balls. Sorry. We take tennis balls.
Yeah.
Tennis balls.
And there was a course that we all played. It was fun. But I don't know. I moved back. I taught for that year after graduating. It was a rough year. Just because like our school was like we started out in masks still.
Yeah.
And that was the first year back. That students were in school full time, like all 5 days. And the year prior, which was our senior year at Hanover, they were on a hybrid schedule. So they were there for Monday and Wednesday. So they got split up into two groups. So you had the gold team and the green team, I believe. And like the gold team would go to school on Monday and Wednesday. Green team would go to school on Tuesday and Thursday, and everybody had Fridays off.
Oh, that part sounds fun,
dude. It does, yeah. So, but it was rough that first year because students were back all day, every day, and we started out with masks, and we were so wishy-washy about the masks that first year too.
Like how so?
Oh, so like after, I think it was after our fall break, but it was like, yeah, mask optional. You can wear it, you don't have to wear it. And then we're like, yeah, back to masks. And then, man, it was just crazy that way.
Also, Gail says hi.
Oh, nice. What up, Gail? What's she up to right now? She's in what state?
Yeah, her episode drops next week,
Oh,
actually.
nice.
So by the time this one drops, it'll be out for a couple weeks.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Alex also says hi too.
Yo, what up, Alex?
I'm gonna.
Is he with her right now? Is he visiting her? Or no?
I don't know, because like I think she like had to go. No, she's in Pennsylvania right now.
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah. Wait, what were we talking about again?
We were talking about like how like the wishy-washy of the masks.
Oh, yeah.
At, like Westfield during your first year teaching.
Yeah. It was just hectic. Because
Understandable.
it was just hectic after being on like hybrid and remote for the 2 years of COVID. Students were wild because of it. They were like all super excited to be back in school with their friends and like actually be there for like the whole day and the whole week. And I think that's why like teachers were stressing to the max, because the year prior they didn't have all of them there at once.
Well, yeah, because you get like used to like operating like under a new system, and then you're just like, okay, psych, adding more people to this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there was a lot of students who would like have to miss school or be virtual for a few days because of, I mean, COVID was still kind of a scary thing at this point. Nice. Yeah. Jacob just showed me a picture of our friend Alex.
Yeah. Which Alex and Gail actually watched the show.
Yeah.
So shout out y'all. If y'all haven't seen it yet, go watch Gail's episode.
Yeah.
Gotta get those streams up.
Heck yeah.
But no, like I only imagine that. And like, did you find it hard going to the same school 4 years after you graduated and like seeing people who like taught you and like now like they're your coworkers?
I don't think it was like very weird or very difficult to transition back into that role. Just because they were like, I knew him as a student. Like I was never a kid that was like trouble.
Oh yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, so like it was pretty easy, you know. They were kind of showed me the ropes. They kind of like a mentor, especially if you're a first year teacher. They kind of like just mentor you for that first year and kind of try to help you out. But I definitely don't think that I got as much help as I needed that year. Just again because of how crazy stuff was being in school all 5 days again. Because everybody was like worried about their own stuff, like their own students, like their own stuff to grade, like, you know, just making sure they were always finishing their lesson plans and like hitting the timelines of quiz this date, test this date, like stuff like that. But they did the best they could, so I mean I appreciate them for that. So
yeah, and I just feel like everybody in that time was just doing what they had with
everybody during that time was on survival mode, like
yeah. And
yeah.
as someone who still works in education, do you find yourself still in that survival mode?
I think it's still in that survival mode. But I was talking to another teacher the other day, and I asked her, and I was like, "Were things like this before COVID?" And she was like, "Yeah." So like, COVID definitely made it worse, but it's been like this, specifically in education,
for a long time.
It's been like this for a while now. Yeah. So
yeah,
that's why there's such a mass exodus of people leaving the profession.
Well, especially in Indiana, like I am seeing like these safe room classroom things where they have the teacher in the classroom pull it open and it's a bulletproof safe room in the school.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know.
All while being underpaid.
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that like they're having teachers do that like it's just kind of like busy work. Like they've got actual work to do, and like they're having teachers do like all this busy work and like micromanaging and stuff. And I think that's another reason why you're seeing so many people leave the profession. What was I gonna say? I forgot. I don't know. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
If it comes to me, I'll say it.
Yeah. If it comes later, we'll insert that here.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing this hand gesture every single time. It's not like they can see me.
Alakazam.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm like, I don't even know I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I just talk with my hands, man.
He's got to be Italian.
Dude, I'm not Italian.
I am Italian.
For those who missed it, Dio is like shaking his hand, like
shaking my like
Mussolini.
Yeah. Weird story about Italian, or like just Italians in general. Not Italians, but in middle school.
Oh,
my science teacher.
Yeah.
Mr. Coleman was his name. I was in 8th grade. It was like the first, maybe the like first trimester of the school year. I can't remember, but it was the first day of either the year or the trimester, and Mr. Coleman is reading off all the names. And if you've met me in person, I'm very tan. I'm Mexican. But Mr. Coleman's reading off his class roster. He gets to my name, and he's like, "Hey, Dionicio, make me some spaghetti." And he's like, "Are you Italian?" I'm like, "No." I don't look Italian, man.
I love it. I love how it's Dionicio.
Yo, he did this with his hand too. And then an Italian accent, like, "Hey, Dionicio, make me some spaghetti." Like exactly what he said. And I'm like,
was he Italian?
Probably.
Okay. No, in my mind, he was not Italian, and he was just being ridiculous for no reason.
He might have been, man. He was he had a big bushy beard, man. He was really cool. He was my favorite teacher. Yeah.
No.
Coleman. Is that an Italian name, Coleman?
I don't know.
Let's look it up. Let's look at origin.
It's a white name for sure.
It is. Sir, I'm gonna look it up, see where it's from. Coleman name origin. Okay, here it is. Oh,
that was quick.
Coleman name origin. German and Jewish Ashkenazic from a compound middle high German coal. Yeah. Weird. Occupational name for a coal miner or for a cabbage farmer. Because coal means cabbage.
Cole Schroyer. Cabbage Schroyer.
Cole Schroyer, I'm gonna start calling you Cabbage Schroyer now.
Oh, we love you, Cole. I'm not sure if he listens to this podcast, but
he should. He better.
I love doing this podcast for multiple reasons. One, it gives me an excuse to like talk to and hang out with my friends, but also just like exploring all this stuff is like so important to me. As someone who's been in academia, who's going to continue to be in academia for a long time, hopefully. Yeah. Well, sorry, go.
Yeah, I was now I remember what I was gonna say earlier, but so hopefully they added some new roles in our district where I work at.
Yeah.
And one of the roles is a student mentor, which is like the one job that I really like, that I really, really want. It's basically like a school counselor role, but without having to deal with like fixing like student schedules or like changing their schedules or like talking to kids and parents about college stuff. You're really there for like the name of the role that it is, like a mentor. You're just like you're just there to like just teach kids about like more stuff than just school. You know, just like be a mentor, be a homie. Like, what are you passionate about? Do you want to go to school? Do you not want to go to school? Like, just really helping him like figure out like what's going on in life, I guess, which is what I really want to do. Yeah. So hopefully see what's up with that. So
nice. That kind of to like answer my question of like what's like next for you. So
yeah. So that's what I have planned. And then also trying to get into some real estate on the side. Which I'm taking a course right now and I'm taking notes over that stuff, but some of that stuff is just boring. Like it really is, man, because there's a bunch of stuff on like laws, like about like property and stuff and taxes and stuff, which I like the math part of it. I always enjoyed math, but
can never be me, but good for you.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is basic math. I started really hating math when I got to towards the end of Algebra 2, because that's when I started kicking my butt. And then I passed that class with a C plus, man.
Mm-hmm.
C's get degrees.
Period.
And then I took AP Stats my senior year. That was rough. I just barely passed that class. I barely passed that first half of it. And I was like, I don't even need to take math. Why am I going to take this again? There's no way I could have passed the second half. I just barely passed the first one. So senior year, I had no math, which I was ecstatic about, man.
Dio, we're kind of wrapping it up here, but there is a couple more questions that I had.
Let's do it.
So one, what's been your favorite part while being in academia, whether that was getting your degree or whatever, what was your favorite part about it?
I think definitely getting my degree, that chapter in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And not because it was more because of the new experiences you had.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 18, you've grown in your hometown, you've gone to school in your hometown your entire life, and it's all the same people. It's just something new other than being in your hometown for the past 18 years.
Yeah.
And and it's just getting to meet new people and getting to do new things. Which is kind of what I felt guilty too when I went to college, because my parents never had that opportunity. So I'm over here enjoying these experiences, new experiences in my life, and then my parents just never had that opportunity. So but it is what it is. Your parents always want the best for you and what's better for you. So
yeah, and they wanted you to go to college and have that experience. So, yeah. And then last question: if there's anything about academia that if you had complete control over, you had Thanos' reality stone or whatever you wanted to say,
do it.
And you got to kind of rewrite academia, the setting, the process, the whole thing. What's the first thing you would change?
It's kind of a lot of things, honestly.
There's a lot that needs to be changed.
yeah. There's a lot. I don't think I would change anything physically about academia right now as much as I would. I would say I would just keep it how it is, honestly. I would say especially people who are in education to teach, teachers and professors and counselors and stuff. I would say the reality of the world is that there are some students who just will not go to college or just don't want that life for them. They don't want to go to 4 years of a university or whatever. There are some students that are just not going to be college material, And I think that we as educators have to stop telling students to oh, you need a college degree, you need a 4-year university to go to and get a good education. I think that's just for some people that's a dream that's going to work out for them, but for other kids their dreams are way bigger than a 4-year degree. So if I could change the mentality of educators in that sense, because I hear it all the time, oh, college, it's the only answer. But it's not. If you're passionate about something and it doesn't require college, then go all out. Don't chase something that you're not sure of. If you're 18 and you know what you want to do and it doesn't require a college degree, then go all out. Just grind. I mean, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna have to grind 24/7, 365, but just grind away at that marble block and try to achieve everything you can, which is why I'm really passionate about that student mentor position.
Yeah,
because that's the one. There's so many talented students where I work at, and some of them are going to college, others probably won't. It's a reality of the way it is. But just chasing your dreams is the one thing I would say. Not everybody has the opportunity to go to college, or not everybody has the funds, or college isn't for everyone, even if you're a straight A student in high school.
Right.
It's it's totally different when you get to college too. So, but I think just changing that kind of aspect or mindset about educators, that college is like the only answer.
Yeah. If you're not setting up your students or mentees for careers that look different than yours, there's something wrong with that. Because like you said, I mean, like everyone had, like there's multiple different ways to be successful. There's multiple different paths. Like you kind of have to just have fun with it.
It's true. Especially today when there's like so many options out there that you don't need to go to college and like you could still be successful. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work out, don't worry. It's good for the plot. The production crew will take care of it.
We'll fix it in post. Oh, forget about it. We'll fix it in post.
I think that's gonna be the title of this episode. We'll fix it in
We'll
post.
fix it in post. That's a good life lesson, though. Like, if you're worried about something right now, like, it's gonna get fixed in post. Like, don't even trip, man.
Yeah, and like
you'll figure it out. That's what post is in life, figuring it out.
I think so. I agree, and I feel like a lot of times, because I mean, there was like moments in undergrad to where like I just, I always thought like, oh, this is gonna be the end of the world, like, everything, and it's never that big of a deal. It's never that big of a deal.
No,
like the sun will come up tomorrow. Hopefully not, but it does.
My homie Annie said that. My homie,
not my homie Annie.
And my homie Annie said that. She a real G for that.
No, the title of this episode would be like, my friend Annie said we'll fix it in post.
Miss Annie said we'll fix it in post. That's true, man. That's what we should talk about in mine.
Yeah.
Not Annie, but
that would be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, Dio, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the podcast.
Yeah. No problem, man. I enjoyed it. I had a fantastic time.
As always, you're such a delight. Where can people like follow you, if anything, about like your journey through life or whatever?
Follow my IG. I don't post too often, but
when they do, they're gems.
Yeah, but when I do post, it's a good one, man.
I say you keep like up your story. You keep your story up though.
Yeah, my story is usually what I update. Every now and then I post.
Yeah.
If I feel the need to like post something that fun I'm doing or just a new experience I'm doing, whatever. Yeah. That's usually when I do it.
Yeah, and Dio's IG account will be linked in the video description that is attached to this video, and it should appear on our Instagram in our like weekly teaser for the episode.
Heck yeah.
But I'm tired, and like it's a hard task.
It is
being the host of this podcast and the entire production company,
and the entire the post crew. It is what it is.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening.
Yeah.
I swear, I'm just not trying to figure out what to say for an outro will be the outro of every episode. We're 8 episodes in. I can't figure one out, but
it is what it is.
Have a good night, everybody, and remember. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Later.